Why was Drew Cain stripped of the Quartermaine name? Drew Cain's life has been one of turmoil, identity crises, and hard-fought battles for recognition. Once welcomed into the Quartermaine fold, his shocking removal from the family legacy sent shockwaves through Port Charles. The question remains, why was Drew Cain stripped of the Quartermaine name, and what does this mean for his future? The arrival of Drew Cain, a long-lost Quartermaine. When Drew first arrived in Port Charles, he had no memories of his past. Believed to be Jason Morgan, he was welcomed by the Quartermaines with open arms, especially Monica Quartermaine, who had long mourned the loss of her son. However, as the truth unraveled, it was revealed that Drew was not Jason but his twin brother, Andrew Cain. Despite the initial confusion, the Quartermaines saw Drew as one of their own, particularly since he had Jason's DNA and was Alan Quartermaine's biological son. Embracing his heritage, for a time, Drew found comfort in the Quartermaine name. He inherited stock in Yelku, took on family responsibilities, and even formed bonds with members like Michael Corinthos and Ned Quartermaine. He tried to uphold the legacy of the family's patriarch, Edward Quartermaine, who always placed family loyalty above all else. However, there were also undercurrents of resentment. Some viewed him as an outsider, a Jason replacement rather than a true Quartermaine in his own right. The power struggle at Yelku. Drew's standing in the Quartermaine family took a major hit when corporate wars over Yelku intensified. Valentine Cassadine, a master manipulator, found ways to sow discord within the family. Ned, feeling threatened by Drew's growing influence, began questioning Drew's legitimacy as a Quartermaine. The cracks in Drew's position grew even wider when Michael and Ned clashed over the company, and Drew was caught in the middle. Rumors swirled that Edward Quartermaine's original will had been tampered with, potentially invalidating Drew's claim to the family fortune. This revelation further fractured the family, leading to legal battles and strategic betrayals. Drew, always a man of principle, refused to engage in the same cutthroat tactics that defined the Quartermaine business world, making him an easy target. Monica's heartbreaking dilemma. Monica, ever the heart of the Quartermaine family, was torn. She loved Drew as a son, but she also faced pressure from within the family to prioritize the bloodline that Edward had worked so hard to preserve. The ultimate decision came down to the Quartermaine board. Drew's shares would be revoked, and he would no longer be recognized as an official Quartermaine in the corporate world. For Drew, this was more than just losing a name. It was a rejection by the family he had embraced. Monica, though devastated, had to abide by the majority's ruling. While she assured Drew that he would always be family in her eyes, the damage was done. The role of Nina Reeves and Carly Corinthos. Nina Reeves, never one to miss an opportunity, took advantage of Drew's vulnerability. She whispered in his ear that perhaps he was never meant to be a Quartermaine, planting the idea that he could carve out his own destiny. Meanwhile, Carly Corinthos, Drew's closest ally and romantic partner, urged him to fight back. She encouraged him to take a stand, reclaim what was his, and refuse to let the Quartermaines dictate his future. But Drew, always pragmatic, questioned whether he even wanted to be part of a family that so easily cast him aside. Did the Quartermaine name define him? Or could he forge a new identity? Drew's next move, rebirth or revenge? Stripped of the Quartermaine name, Drew found himself at a crossroads. Would he seek revenge against the family that rejected him, aligning himself with Valentine or another corporate powerhouse to take Yelku down? Or would he build his own legacy, proving that he didn't need the Quartermaine name to be successful? Port Charles buzzed with speculation. Could Drew Cain be the one to establish his own empire, perhaps joining forces with Sam McCall, who had also been burned by the Quartermaines in the past? Or would he find solace in a new role, one that had nothing to do with corporate battles, but everything to do with personal redemption? The fallout. Who takes the blame? The fallout from Drew's exile rippled through the Quartermaine family. Monica was left heartbroken, torn between duty and love. Michael regretted not standing up for Drew more forcefully, while Ned, though victorious, questioned whether he had done the right thing. Even Brooklyn Quartermaine, who had grown to admire Drew's integrity, found herself questioning the family's decision. And then there was Jason Morgan, the brother Drew never truly got to know. With Jason's return to Port Charles, tensions only grew. Would Jason step in to right the wrongs done to Drew, or would he remain loyal to the Quartermaines, upholding their ruthless business tactics? Conclusion: Drew Cain's future. Drew Cain may have been stripped of the Quartermaine name, but that does not define who he is. If anything, this rejection may be the catalyst for a reinvention, pushing him to become something greater than the Quartermaines ever allowed him to be. Port Charles should brace itself, because Drew Cain's story is far from over.